Hey everybody out there, Walking Man Walks here for another walk and talk in the morning on my morning walk here in beautiful Ilocos Norte, Philippines. What I want to talk about today is food here in the Philippines. So I just got back from the US, and as you know, the American diet, or you might not know, but the American diet is pretty terrible these days. Full of sugar, empty carbohydrates. I mean, I just watched the video yesterday that a creator put up that McAllen, Texas, which I've been to a few times. My state of Colorado borders Texas, so I go there quite often. But 40% of the people in McAllen, Texas suffer from diabetes. 40%. I'd be willing to wager that here in the Philippines it's about 1%. It's not unheard of. Actually, my landlord here in the Philippines currently has diabetes and he's on dialysis. He's 67 years old. But for him too, I think it's all diet. He still drinks multiple Coca-Colas a day, which is basically, you might as well just inject sugar into your veins. It's the quickest way to get sugar in your body. Either orange juice, soda, soft drinks. They'll kill you quickly. But here in the Philippines, all the food is what we would call in the States farm to table. All the meat and produce I get from the wet market, or the open air market, some people call it. And it's open every day. Sundays is the big day, but I go there and get fish that's still wiggling if I want, fresh chicken that was probably killed and plucked that morning, that just comes from a few miles away. All the corn and rice is locally grown here. I don't eat much corn, but in my house here we eat quite a bit of rice, because I'm living with a Filipina and that's a staple part of their diet. Now I just got back from the US, and only to find out my sister, who's a year older than me, my brother, who's a year younger than me, were both diagnosed with pre-diabetes, and their doctors told them they need to do something about it right away. And the number one thing was lose weight. Thankfully, they both took action. They both lost weight. They both changed their diet. And they're doing well with it. Something I've been preaching to them for years. Of course, I've been health conscious for many years now. 20 years. I haven't eaten fast food or drank soda. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I've drank probably 40 ounces of soda in the last 20 years. I drink water, I drink coffee without sugar. I don't add sugar to anything I eat. I don't eat cake, donuts, all that garbage that everybody eats in the US every day, nonstop. In fact, when I'm at work, I still work in the US half of the year. That kind of food is constantly pushed on me. Meetings at work, people bring in donuts, birthday parties, cakes. I just refuse to eat it. People they even look down on me sometimes, telling me I'm too health conscious. But I don't give in to peer pressure. I really never have, and I never will. So, one thing you need to know about, not only here in the Philippines, I've traveled in Colombia, Kenya, Uganda, Chile, almost everywhere. I haven't traveled much in Europe because it's too expensive, but almost anywhere besides the US, the food is farm fresh, much better for you. Did you know that most of Europe and China made GMO foods illegal? And in the US, every processed food is GMO food. All breakfast cereals, which is also terrible for you. What's up, buddy? These guys just hang around all the time, all over the place here. The local oxen. Anyway, another reason to move abroad, if you were thinking about it, is for your health. Like I said, yes, the healthcare system in the United States is probably second to none, but we need such a good healthcare system because our food is poison. I remember when I was a kid, my grandfather, who was already kind of an old man when I was born, a couple generations ahead of me, because my mom had me late in life. But my grandfather would always say, "You are what you eat." And he grew up on a farm in Italy. And then when he moved to the US, he had 2 or 3 gardens at his home in Westbury, New York. And he ate mostly food from his garden. And of course, back then, when I was a kid in the 70s and 80s, food wasn't as processed. Meat wasn't as bad as it is now. Now they pack cattle and pigs and chickens into the smallest area they can, and because they're so close together all the time, the animals, they get sick, and then they just inject a bunch of medicine in them, antibiotics usually, which is also ruining antibiotics for the world, because bacteria and viruses are getting much stronger because they build up a resistance to the antibiotics. The more antibiotics you use, the more antibiotics you have to reinvent, because they build up and the bugs build up a resistance to it, and then it doesn't work anymore. So the less antibiotics you could take, the better. But back to the farmers in the US, they just inject all the chickens with tons of antibiotics because they're so close together. They get sick from, I mean, you can imagine, they're shoulder to shoulder, they're pooping on each other. One gets sick, they all get sick. So I haven't ate meat in the US in 15 years probably, because of these very reasons. But here in the Philippines, I do eat meat because I know where it came from. I know it was just harvested that day. And I've always eaten fish, but even the fish here, I mean, it's hard to control pollution in the oceans. Hopefully world governments will get a handle on that pretty soon. But the fish here is fresh out of the ocean. Even when I get tuna, which I think is tuna, they call it mahi mahi here, which I always understood to be tuna. They're smaller fish, they're not these 300 or 400 pound tunas. They're a 12, 13-inch fish that they caught that morning. So another thing to keep in mind if you're thinking about moving abroad is your health will get better. I don't have to consciously think here about watching my weight and what I eat like I do in the US, because everything there has sugar added to it. I mean, you look at something as stupid as coffee creamer, and they add sugar to it and all these extra chemicals so it lasts maximum time on the shelf. But is that really what you want to put in your body? These chemicals, they don't even know what they do at this point. Some of them are so new, and some of them, frankly, they just don't want to know what they do to your body, because it's so cheap and profitable for these companies, these giant food companies, to make, that they don't want people to know what it does to your body. Aspartame, for instance, I haven't used aspartame in a long time, but if you look on Gatorade, Coke, Diet Coke especially, Coke Zero, all that stuff, it's all full of aspartame. We know that causes cancer. I mean, correlation is not causation, right? But it's pretty much correlated, and almost 100%, not quite, proven that it does cause cancer. But yet, it's not illegal in the US. Well, it's illegal in Europe. It's illegal in China. You can't put aspartame in your food in China. So why is it legal in the US? capitalism, of course. Profits over everything. Profits over health. Profits over, people's life, basically. It's all about profit. And that's not the kind of life I want to live. That's not the kind of society I really want to live in. That's why I'm slowly moving away from the US. If I could afford it now, I would move away full time. If you guys have any questions about the food in the Philippines and what it's like to live here, if you want to see more of the food here, I'll be happy to make some videos about what we cook and what it looks like when we eat out. Going to a local little restaurant where you get lunch for $1, but it's all farm fresh, $2 maybe. The portions are always small here. That's another reason why everyone's basically skinny. They don't give you a mountain of food on your plate like you never ate before. Anyway, if you have any questions, let me know in the comments and I'll be happy to answer them. All right, everybody have a good day. I'm gonna finish my walk here. I do about 5 miles a morning. Of course, that's another way to stay healthy. Walking, getting your body moving, exercising. If you don't do that, you're in trouble. All right, peace out.